Bonjour à toutes et à tous les amis et bienvenue sur la chaîne YouTube de So Catch by Al. J'espère que vous allez bien, très heureux de vous accueillir aujourd'hui avec Jimmy fucking Lloyd, Jimmy fucking Lloyd. How are you, Jimmy?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much. I'm glad to have you for this interview. I think I'm gonna call it something like the deathmatch interview.
Okay.
That's the first time I'm interviewing like a deathmatch wrestler. So I got plenty of questions for you about deathmatch.
Hit 'em with me.
But the first question is it your first time in France?
Oh yeah, it's my first time in France. I'm super excited to be in France.
You know any French?
Bonjour.
Baguette?
Little.
Okay, well, we'll focus on the deathmatch question. My first question is, I think, the most important question. How could you explain deathmatch to people that doesn't see the interest of why you're doing that?
Deathmatch is just another element of wrestling, but to a different extreme. It's an extreme that some people find graphic or gross, and a lot of people don't think that genre should be in a professional wrestling ring, but to me, I think it's definitely an art form, and I see something in deathmatch wrestling that I appreciate, and I appreciate what people put their bodies through for fans' entertainment, and just what they put their bodies through just for entertainment for people. I don't know, it's a very weird thing, but I definitely think it has a place in wrestling, and it's really hard to explain because deathmatch wrestling is so strange.
It is. And to be fully honest with you, it scares me.
It scares a lot of people. It scares me too.
Oh, it scares you too?
Yeah, I mean, when I was first starting, I wasn't really scared of it.
Okay.
But as time went on, I realized how scary it really is.
Okay. Who gave you the desire to start that type of match?
It really started watching CZW, Combat Zone Wrestling, when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And I grew up in Philadelphia, so Combat Zone Wrestling was in Philadelphia. And ECW is Philadelphia too, so I was right in like the golden spot for hardcore and deathmatch wrestling. So I grew up seeing it, and I was just like, whoa, this is the coolest thing ever. And even when I would watch WWE and stuff, I was into the hardcore stuff, or watching Jeff Hardy fall off the 20-foot ladder, or Mick Foley getting bashed in the head with chairs and getting thrown off the cell. I appreciate and love technical wrestling, lucha libre, all that stuff, but hardcore wrestling, it was just something, it's like something like people don't want you to do, so you kind of want to do it. It's like when you're a little kid and your mom doesn't want you to watch it, so you watch it anyway, you know what I mean?
Okay. But people doesn't want other people to do wrestling. And I feel like you took that to the extreme, and it's like, even in wrestling, you're doing the people that doesn't want to do.
Yeah, so that's what makes you want to do it more.
Okay. What is the piece of advice that you would give to someone that wants to start deathmatch wrestling?
Well, I would say make sure you're actually good at regular professional wrestling first, and own your craft in that first. And if you're going to do it, learn all the safety protocols into going into deathmatch wrestling, because it's a lot more than it looks like. So you don't want to go out there and hurt yourself or hurt somebody else and kill somebody.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, I would say talk to people that do death matches and try to learn as much as you can before you step in and try it for yourself.
That's interesting because you said learn the basic of wrestling. That's a criticism that we heard like many times, that people that do deathmatch wrestling cannot wrestle.
Yeah.
What do you respond to that?
Well, I mean, there was a time in wrestling where deathmatch wrestling was embarrassing.
Okay.
So it got like a bad stamp on it because there were people that didn't know what they were doing, going in there just hitting each other with light bulbs and not wrestling. But through time, people have gotten to a different style of deathmatch wrestling, and GCW really brought this style, and Japanese promotions have brought that style of wrestling with the weapons, which is deathmatch wrestling, not just deathmatch. So I think there is wrestling in deathmatch wrestling, and if you don't see it, then you're just watching the wrong people.
Okay, understood. How do you handle so much pain and suffering during a death match? Because this is quite impressive.
Adrenaline at first. In the ring, it's a lot of adrenaline and feeling the crowd.
Okay.
Afterwards, it sucks. A couple hours when you're getting in the shower, it burns really bad, and I really don't get stitches much unless I really have to. I just kind of let it heal on its own and just take the pain. I don't like pain, but I'll take it.
You sometimes do very dangerous spots in your matches. Is there one or few that you really scared of doing again? You don't want to do it again?
I don't know. I don't know if I'd not do it again, but the one match that always stays in my brain of scary was me versus Schlack at
I mean, the guy is having like tube for breakfast.
yeah.
Of course you don't want to rest
I
for it.
sliced my hand open in that match. I started the match, I got thrown off a 20-foot balcony, just the start of the match. Then I sliced my hand holding a light tube bundle doing a backflip, and it stabbed into my hand. Then I got a concussion and I had to go to the hospital after I was done that match. And the other one was when I wrestled Masashi Takeda at Joey Janela's spring break, and I took the scissor board. Yeah, I don't really mess with scissors anymore. I did it another time. I got stabbed in the arm. So I think
With scissors?
yeah, so I did scissors a couple times, and I don't really want to mess with them. But if it happens, it happens.
Okay. Are you afraid of seriously damaging your body?
Yes.
You're afraid of that?
Yeah.
How do you deal with it?
Just hope for the best.
I mean, there's not more I really can do.
Okay. And do you sometimes take break just to heal properly?
No.
Not really.
No.
My God. This interview is already too much. Do you have stress going into deathmatch wrestling? I mean, more than regular match?
Yeah, I do. Because you never know how it's gonna break, what's gonna happen, what's gonna stab you. Like there could literally be glass on the mat that slices you mid-match. Like, it's very unpredictable and it's scary, but you just hope for the best. And yeah, like when you're sitting there like thinking like, oh my God, I could go through that, and you're in the ring and you see all these light tubes, it's like, shit, I know I'm going to go through glass, so it's just hopefully I don't get sliced too bad. Hopefully I come back and I'm not bleeding out.
So the thing I just realized, like you make me realize, is that you're as much scared as I am watching you, but you're actually doing it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not always scared. I mean, I get used to it over time, but it's still a little scary.
Okay.
I'm not scared enough to where I'm not doing it.
I'm so scared that I sometimes don't want to watch you guys. I'm like, yeah, I'm leaving the room. Okay, whatever. Joey Janela said that he's retired from deathmatch wrestling. I think he did the last deathmatch wrestling in Japan again, Jun Kazai.
Yes.
Are you thinking about taking your retirement from deathmatch wrestling at some point?
Yeah, I definitely think there's going to be a time where I step away from deathmatch wrestling, because I don't think I can do it forever.
Okay. Is that when will be the time?
I don't know.
Body? Listening to the body first?
Listen to the body, the mind,
Okay.
the future,
Okay.
a little bit of everything.
So still,
It's kind of just feeling it out.
okay. Gotcha.
But I do think there'll be a time.
Okay. Understood. Let's talk a little bit more about GCW. I feel like back to a few years ago, GCW was more deathmatch oriented.
Yeah.
What do you think about the change that GCW has and in becoming more mainstream wrestling?
I think it's good. I mean, it's definitely, nobody thought that GCW would get to a mainstream level, especially starting out as this crazy deathmatch company. And you can only be the underground deathmatch company for so long, and there's going to be a time where you have to elevate and evolve, and we still keep the deathmatch in there while
It's still in the DNA of the company.
yeah, and we still do death matches, so it's not completely away, but I think it's always a good thing to be at a bigger level and a bigger stage and get more eyes on the product and be taken more seriously.
Okay, that's interesting. You said taken be more seriously. Where do you see GCW in the landscape of pro wrestling?
I think it's definitely up there with the bigger companies.
Okay.
I mean, we've done pay-per-views, we've run so many events. We've ran events in Japan, UK, Australia, Mexico, all over the United States. We've run so many events, like as much as like WWE and stuff. And I think we're like touching that level right now, like of running live events.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
That's what I'm saying. And also I think we've been able to get more eyes on us with having people like John Moxley, being on pay-per-view, selling out the Hammerstein Ballroom. So I think that puts us on another level. And I think that puts us up there with the higher companies.
Understood. What do you think is the next step for GCW to become even bigger?
That's a really hard question. I don't know. I mean, we didn't think we were going to get as big as we did, and we did. So I just keep on being GCW and hopefully just keep elevating and making it a bigger product.
Okay. You're still relatively young. How do you deal with being one of the youngest in the locker room?
Yeah, in age I'm the youngest, but I've still been in GCW longer than most of the people in the
I
locker.
feel like you've been there forever. It's like Nick Wayne. It's
Yeah.
like you've been
I started training wrestling when I was 13.
Okay.
I had my first match at 16 and had my first death match in GCW at 18. So I started with GCW in 2015, helping out, and I had my first match in GCW in 2016. So I've been there since like day one. So, I mean, a lot of the people in the locker room haven't been there since day one. So I may be younger than them, but I'm still the vet in the GCW locker room.
Do you feel any generational gap with all the wrestlers?
What do you mean?
Yeah, I was like with real vet, like in my time wrestling was this way, blah blah.
Not in the GCW locker room. I've dealt with it before, but everyone in the GCW locker room is really just like, they believe in GCW and they want everybody to succeed, and it's more of a family and more of a team. Everybody has each other's back and everybody wants everybody to do good and have the best performance, because if everybody's doing good, then the company's doing good.
It's a team effort.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel like GCW is a good place to showcase what you're able of and being noticed by a bigger company?
Yeah, I do. Because there's a lot of eyes on GCW. So I think performing well at GCW and could take you to the next level. As we've seen with a lot of people, they started with GCW, nobody really knew they were. They built their name through GCW and then got to the next stage.
So the next stage is what? WWE, AEW, Impact?
Yeah, I would say AEW, New Japan.
Yeah, New Japan as well.
Yeah.
Is that something that you would like to go for?
Yeah, I would.
Okay. Anyone in particular?
All of them.
All.
I'm literally I just want to see where I can get to, you know? AEW would be awesome, WWE would be awesome, New Japan would be awesome, and Impact would be awesome. Any of them would be awesome. I'm just here working hard, being myself, and just want to take this ride and see where I end up.
Understood. And finally, last question. What is your Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling?
Probably Jeff Hardy, Mick Foley. There's 4 on the Mount Rushmore, right?
Yes. I can't believe like a US wrestler asked me that. Of course there's 4.
So Mick Foley, Jeff Hardy, Shawn Michaels. The last one's hard.
It's always the most difficult.
You can say Eddie Guerrero.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was expecting something a little bit more deathmatch oriented.
Yeah, I was trying to like this is like the greatest of like all time.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I had to do Mick Foley for the hardcore, Jeff Hardy for the stunts, Shawn Michaels for the charisma and the great matches, and Eddie Guerrero for the technical style.
Okay. I got you. I think it's a great Mount Rushmore. I pretty much agree with you. Okay. Thank you very, very much, Jimmy. Thank you for taking the time to do this interview.
Yep.
Hope you liked it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Les amis, on se retrouve très bientôt sur la chaîne YouTube de So Catch by Al. Comme d'habitude, likez la vidéo, partagez la vidéo. Et puis on se retrouve très bientôt. Des bisous pour tout le monde. À ciao, ciao. Bye bye.
Sois sûr de t'abonner à la chaîne en cliquant sur ma tête et regarde aussi les autres vidéos en cliquant à gauche.